Awaken Light Audio. Awaken your mind. Ignite your light.
How to never feel angry or bothered by anyone. Unlock the power of inner peace. Why does it take just one sentence to ruin your whole day? You were calm, focused, grounded. Then someone said something careless, and suddenly your inner peace vanished. Why is it that one word can ignite a fire inside you? Most people aren't. Angry, they're unhealed. Your reaction isn't really about them, it's about you. Your wounds, your stories, your unspoken expectations, the ones you've never questioned. Only reacted from. Imagine living in a state where nothing disturbs your peace. What if you could remain calm, even in chaos? What if other people's words, moods, and energy no longer controlled your state? What if you could live free, truly free, from reactivity? Unlocking the path to true inner peace. You weren't born angry. You learned it. Somewhere along the way, the world taught you to react, to fight back, to defend your worth, to let every trigger decide who you are in that moment. But what if you could undo all that conditioning? What if you no longer had to get pulled into emotional whirlpools every time someone disappointed you, disrespected you, or disagreed with you? This is not about suppression, not about pretending nothing bothers you. This is about power, the kind that's quiet, steady, and immovable, because the greatest strength you'll ever have is not needing to react. You don't need to win arguments. You don't need to fix anyone. You don't even need to be understood. You just need peace, and peace is not found in controlling the world. It's found in mastering the way you move through it. So let's begin this journey, not of escape, but of coming home to the most powerful version of yourself, the one who sees, feels, but chooses peace anyway. Chapter 1. The Cost of Losing Your Peace. Every time you let something outside of you control your emotions, you pay a price, and it's always more expensive than you think. What you're really losing when you get triggered, when someone says something disrespectful, when your plans get disrupted. When someone ignores your worth, you think you're just getting angry. But it's not just anger. It's the loss of clarity, the loss of control, the loss of your center. You're not just irritated, you're hijacked. You trade your peace for a moment of reaction, not realizing that moment will echo for hours, sometimes days. That's the hidden cost. You lose time. You lose energy, and worst of all, you lose yourself. Why it's not about them, it's about your power. People will disappoint you. They will interrupt you, ignore you, talk over you. They'll say things that poke at your insecurities, but they are not the ones stealing your peace. It's your attachment to how they should behave. It's your expectation that the world owes you kindness or consistency. It's your belief that other people need to validate your sense of worth. They may light the match, but you keep pouring gasoline. The truth. You've been giving away your emotional power to isolate. And the real question is, for what? To be right? To feel heard? To prove something? None of it is worth your peace. The hidden value of inner calm. Let's flip the question. What would you gain if you kept your peace? Even when provoked, even when misunderstood, you'd gain time, focus, confidence. You'd walk into rooms with silent power. You'd stop reacting and start leading, because calm is not weakness, it's dominance over self. Peace is the highest form of personal discipline. It's what the truly powerful protect above all else. What small emotional triggers have been costing you the most peace lately? When was the last time you gave someone else the power to ruin your day, and why? What if the real strength was in saying nothing, doing nothing, and simply staying rooted? You weren't born to be easily moved. You were born to master your inner world. The first practice, the daily peace inventory. Every evening, ask yourself, where did I lose my peace today? Was it worth it? How can I respond differently? Tomorrow, say this aloud. I do not chase control. I choose peace. I do not react to chaos. I return to my center. Whisper this to yourself daily. Nothing is worth my peace, because when I lose that, I lose everything. Now that you've seen how expensive it is to lose your peace, let's look deeper into the true source of anger itself. Because the emotion you call anger is often not anger at all. It's something far more subtle, far more unconscious, and once you see it, everything begins to change. Ready to dive deeper? Chapter 2. You're not angry, you're unaware. Anger is never the first emotion. It's the loudest mask worn by something softer. Anger is a signal, not an identity. Most people say, "I'm just an angry person." No, you're not. You're a sensitive person, a wounded person, a disconnected person, and anger. That's just the flare gun. It's the body's way of screaming. Something inside me hasn't been seen. You don't feel angry? You feel unheard, unseen, unsafe. But you only know how to call it anger because that's what you were taught. We've been conditioned to react before we reflect, to explode instead of explore, to lash out instead of look inward. But what if? Anger is not a flaw, but a portal to healing. Where awareness begins, anger ends. You're not angry because of what happened. You're angry because of the meaning you attached to it, and that meaning often comes from a much older wound someone ignores. Your message? You don't just feel disrespected, you feel abandoned. Again, someone criticizes your idea. You don't just feel offended, you feel like you're not enough. Again, you think you're mad at this moment, but you're actually carrying decades of unprocessed emotions, all erupting at once. This is why awareness is the true medicine. Because when you can observe the emotion, you don't have to become it. The power of naming the emotion beneath. Anger is rarely alone. It usually travels with fear, shame, guilt, insecurity, loneliness. But you can't heal what you refuse to name, and you can't release what you won't face. The moment you name what's underneath the anger, it begins to dissolve. So next time you feel the fire, ask, what is this really about? Where have I felt this before? What do I need that I'm not giving myself? That is not weakness. That is emotional mastery. When was the last time you got angry? And what was the feeling hiding beneath it? What do your triggers consistently reveal about your deeper needs or wounds? How would your life shift if instead of reacting, you got curious? You're not broken. You're just disconnected from your truth. And when you reconnect, the anger loses its grip. The second practice, pause before you name. Next time you feel anger rising, try this. Pause, breathe slowly, ask, what am I really feeling right now? Then say, I feel angry, but underneath, I feel underscore. Finish this aloud. I no longer fear my anger. I welcome it as a messenger. I listen, I learn, I let go. Remember, this is the shift. The more aware I become, the less control anger has over me. Now that you understand, anger isn't always what it seems, the next step is learning how to stop giving it fuel. Because the more you stay attached to how others should act, the more they control how you feel. But when you detach with grace, you don't just regain your power, you become untouchable. Chapter 3. Detach to protect your power. Peace doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from refusing to let it control you. Why you react? The illusion of control. Most of your frustration doesn't come from what people do. It comes from what you expect them to do. You expected them to text back. You expected them to respect you. You expected them to show up, be honest, care more. But they didn't. And instead of observing that reality, you attached your self-worth to it. You made their behavior mean something about you. They ignored you. Now you feel unworthy. They disappointed you. Now you feel rejected. They criticized you. Now you feel broken. The truth is, you're not reacting to them. You're reacting to your attachment. Attachment is not love. It's a form of self-sabotage. You think caring deeply means being emotionally invested. But there's a difference between love and attachment. Love is generous. Attachment is controlling. Love flows. Attachment grips. When you attach your identity to someone else's behavior, you become a puppet of their mood. You get dragged into arguments you never needed to attend. You bleed energy trying to fix what isn't yours to fix. You're allowed to care without carrying. You're allowed to love without losing yourself. What detachment really means, detachment, is not coldness. It's not pretending you don't care. It's not shutting down or building walls. Detachment is emotional maturity. It's the ability to say, I see what's happening. I feel what I feel, but I don't let it pull me out of alignment. It means you stop giving people the power to ruin your mood, dictate your worth, or decide your emotional state. You remain grounded, even when the world wobbles. Detachment is choosing your peace over your pride, your clarity over your chaos, your center over their storm. Who or what are you overly attached to emotionally right now? How would your energy shift if you stopped trying to control the outcome? What would non-reactive strength look like in your daily life? You don't need to be numb. You need to be selectively responsive. Not everything deserves access to your nervous system. The third practice, the let-go response. The next time you feel yourself tensing up, needing to react, try this. Notice the trigger. Breathe slowly. Say quietly, I release the need to control. I return to peace. Walk away. Choose stillness. Let it pass. Repeat this as a morning mantra. I detach to protect my power. I observe without absorbing. I love without losing myself. Talk to yourself that you can be free. The moment you let go of needing things to go your way, you become untouchable. Even when we try to detach, there's a voice inside that screams, but I need to win. I need to prove I'm right. That voice isn't truth, it's your ego. The old part of you still searching for validation and conflict. But what if the greatest win is walking away with your dignity intact? Chapter 4. The ego that wants to win every fight. Not every battle is yours to win, especially the ones that cost your peace. Why you keep arguing, even when it hurts you? Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, I shouldn't have said that, or why did I get so worked up? It wasn't logic that pulled you in. It wasn't love that made you stay. It was your ego. The part of you that thinks, I have to prove them wrong, they need to understand me. I can't let them win. The ego doesn't care about peace. It cares about power. And so, even when it's not worth it, you fight, you explain, you defend, you argue, but deep down, something feels off. Because while your ego is yelling victory, your soul is whispering, at what cost? The true nature of the ego, your ego isn't evil. It's protective. It was born from pain, from all the moments. You felt invisible, rejected, not enough. So it tries to shield you, to validate you, to build a wall so high that no one can touch the wound beneath. But what protects you can also imprison you. The ego builds armor to keep the heart safe, but sometimes that armor becomes the cage. You don't need to destroy the ego. You just need to see through it. What is really worth proving? Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Is this going to matter in a week? Am I fighting to be understood, or just to be right? Most arguments are not about truth, they're about identity. The ego fights to preserve the image, the smart one, the strong one, the right one. But inner peace comes when you realize you don't have to win the fight to win your freedom. What types of conversations tend to trigger your need to defend or argue? Whose opinion are you still trying to change, and why? What might shift if you allowed misunderstanding without resistance? Let them misunderstand. Let them underestimate. Let them walk away thinking they won. You walked away with your peace. That's the real win. The next practice, the pause of power, the next time you feel the urge to react. Practice the pause of power. Breathe in. Say silently, I don't need to prove anything. I choose peace over pride. Remain still. Let the wave pass. Walk away or respond with clarity, not emotion. Say this aloud daily. I don't argue to be heard. I speak to be clear. If I'm not understood, I release the need to convince. You're not here to win every fight. When peace becomes your priority, the ego loses its grip. Now that you see how much energy the ego demands, the next chapter will teach you how to release fully, because the real transformation doesn't come from resisting anger. It comes from letting go of what feeds it. Let's go deeper into detachment in the next chapter. Chapter 5. Respond. Don't react. Reacting is instinct. Responding is wisdom. The split second that determines everything. Someone says something hurtful, you feel a jolt in your chest, a rush of heat behind your eyes, your jaw tightens, your voice rises. You react. But what if you paused? What if, in that split second, you took a breath and chose to respond with presence, not reflex? Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. By Viktor E. Frankl, that space, the breath, the stillness, the pause, is what separates emotional slavery from emotional mastery. Why we react so fast and so hard. Most people don't react to reality. They react to their pain, their fear, and their unfinished stories. When you react, you let someone else control your state. Relive old trauma in new situations. Give away your power to external events. Reaction is immediate, unfiltered, emotional, often regrettable. A reactive mind is a wounded mind, asking to be seen. So when someone pushes your buttons, it's not really about them. It's about what's been left unhealed inside you, what it means to respond instead. To respond means to see clearly, then act consciously. A response comes from awareness, not impulse, serves a purpose, not a pattern, protects your peace, rather than proving a point. It's not about being passive, it's about being powerfully calm. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. A response might be silence. It might be walking away. It might be a direct statement from a grounded place. Whatever it is, it serves you, not your ego. Another practice, the pause of power. Here's a simple practice to build your inner muscle of response. Step 1. Breathe first. The moment you feel triggered, inhale deeply, exhale slowly. Feel the breath moving through you. Step 2. Ask yourself, what outcome do I truly want here? Is this worth my peace? Step 3. Choose presence over performance. Don't respond to win. Respond to stay aligned with who you want to be. Say this silently. I choose my peace over my pride. Repeat this every morning. I don't react to chaos. I respond with clarity. In the last week, when did you react and later regret it? What would a calm, centered version of you have done differently? What fear hides behind your most reactive moments? Fear of being misunderstood, disrespected, unloved. Every reaction is an invitation to either regress or evolve. You are not a slave to emotion. Your triggers are not your identity. Your emotions are not your destiny. Your response is your responsibility. Boundaries are not walls. They are bridges. Now that you've learned how to slow down and choose, your response is, it's time to address the spaces where most of your energy leaks out, your boundaries. Because boundaries aren't about shutting people out, they're about honoring yourself within. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to create boundaries that don't isolate, but elevate both you and your relationships. Chapter 6. Boundaries are not walls. They are bridges. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. By Brené Brown, boundaries are not about others. They're about you. Many people think setting boundaries is rude, selfish, cold, distant. But the truth is, not having boundaries isn't kindness. It's self-abandonment. When you say yes to everyone, you say no to yourself. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They're bridges that teach others how to meet you with respect. They don't disconnect, they direct. They show others how to engage with the most authentic, empowered version of you. Hidden resentment from lack of boundaries. If you often feel frustrated, if you feel taken for granted, if you find yourself saying, "They should know better," then chances are you're expecting people to respect boundaries you never clearly expressed. Here's a truth most avoid. You're not angry because people crossed your boundaries. You're angry because you didn't enforce them. When you fail to set limits, you become emotionally drained. You build silent resentment. You lose clarity on what's yours versus what's theirs. And worst of all, you teach others that your needs don't matter. How to set boundaries without guilt. Boundaries are not ultimatums. They're clarity with compassion. To begin, define what drains you. Where do you feel resentful, tired, or taken advantage of? Decide what you will allow. What's okay, what's not. Where is your energy best invested? Communicate it clearly. You don't need to explain yourself endlessly. Just be honest. Firm, kind, example phrases. I'm not available to discuss this right now. I understand your need, but I can't meet it today. This doesn't feel respectful to me. Your boundaries are not punishments. They're your sacred line between peace and pain. One more practice: boundary affirmation ritual. Each morning, look into the mirror and say, "My peace is sacred. I do not overextend to feel worthy. I set boundaries to protect my light." When faced with guilt for setting a limit, pause and ask, do I want to be liked by others or respected by myself? Then choose accordingly. Where in your life have you been tolerating disrespect? What conversations have you been avoiding out of fear of disappointing others? What version of yourself is quietly being suppressed just to keep the peace? True peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from standing in your truth with love. You teach people how to treat you. If you don't set the standard, the world will assume you have none. Stop trying to fix or control others. Your boundaries are in place. You'll notice something strange. You'll stop needing to change people to fix them. To explain yourself over and over, you'll begin to realize it was never your job to carry others through their growth. In the next chapter, we'll uncover the peace that comes when you finally release the illusion of control and reclaim your own emotional sovereignty. Chapter 7. Stop trying to fix or control others. The moment you stop trying to fix others is the moment you start healing yourself. The illusion of control. Have you ever caught yourself wanting someone to see things your way? Repeating advice? Hoping this time they'll finally get it. Feeling frustrated when someone doesn't change, even after everything you've done for them. You're not alone. We've all fallen into the trap of over-functioning for others, trying to rescue them to solve their pain, to control how they behave so we can feel safe. But here's the hard truth. The more you try to change others, the more you abandon yourself. Why we try to control others and what it costs. We control because we fear. We fix because we can't tolerate their discomfort. We overextend because deep down we believe, if they're not okay, I can't be okay. But this is a recipe for burnout, bitterness, and emotional chaos. When your peace depends on someone else's choices, you've handed them the keys to your inner world. You can't control how others feel, but you can control what you carry. Let go of the role you were never meant to play. You were not their savior, their therapist, their emotional punching bag, their endless source of patience and understanding. You are you, and your primary job is to stay in integrity with your own path. People don't change because you want them to. They change when they're ready to. The longer you try to fix someone, the longer they stay broken, and the more resentment builds in you. How to stop trying to fix people without becoming cold. Letting go doesn't mean becoming heartless, it means becoming whole. Try this 3-step. Boundary shift. Observe, witness without absorbing. Let them be who they are. Detach with love. You can love someone and still say, "This isn't mine to carry." Return inward. Every time you feel pulled to fix, ask, "What part of me still needs healing?" Say this to yourself often. I let others live their path, and I return to my peace. The next practice, the sacred separation. When someone disappoints, you, instead of reacting, silently affirm. They are responsible for their choices. I am responsible for my energy. Then walk away mentally, emotionally, spiritually, without drama, without punishment. Every time you do this, you reinforce a powerful message to your soul. I release control. I reclaim my peace. Where in your life are you trying too hard to help someone who isn't helping themselves? What parts of your identity are tied to being needed, wanted, or depended on? Can you sit in someone else's discomfort without rushing to solve it? Sometimes, loving someone means letting them learn the hard way while you stay soft with yourself. You're not responsible for everyone's healing. You are allowed to care deeply and still walk away. You are allowed to let go, even when they don't get it. Let go of the story in your head now that you've stopped trying to fix the world outside you. It's time to face the world inside your mind, because the most dangerous source of anger and anxiety isn't what others do, it's the story you tell yourself about what it means. In the next chapter, we'll learn how to release the mental narratives that keep you trapped in reactivity and unlock the inner stillness that's always been waiting. Chapter 8. Let go of the story in your head. The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. By Robin Sharma. It's not the event, it's the interpretation. Have you ever felt your anger boil, not from what someone said, but from what you thought they meant? That moment when a silence becomes rejection, a look becomes judgment, a message left unread becomes disrespect. The truth, most of your pain doesn't come from what happened, but from the story you told yourself about it. We live not in the world as it is, but in the meaning our mind attaches to every moment. And when your mind is left unchecked, it becomes a story machine, narrating every situation with assumptions, fears, and projections from old wounds. The cycle of misinterpretation and reaction. Here's how it plays out. Someone does something neutral. They're late, distracted, quiet. You interpret it, they don't care. That story triggers an old wound. I'm always overlooked. You react emotionally, not to the reality, but to the fiction your mind created. When you don't pause to question the story, you live your whole life in reaction to a fantasy. Clearing mental clutter. How to break free from inner narratives. Here's the truth. You can't control the first thought that comes, but you can choose whether to believe it. Try this 3-step. Mental reset. Notice the story. What are you telling yourself right now? Challenge it. Is it true, or is it just familiar? Replace it. What's a more compassionate interpretation? Example, instead of "they're ignoring me," try maybe "they're overwhelmed and it's not about me." Peace begins the moment you stop arguing with your imagination. The next practice, mental narrative audit. At the end of your day, reflect on moments you felt upset. Write what happened? What story you told yourself? What might be another way to view it? Then close your journal and say aloud, "I am not my thoughts, I am the awareness behind them." What old wounds are still influencing your inner storytelling? Do you tend to assume rejection, betrayal, or abandonment too quickly? How often do you live in reaction to something that never truly happened? You are not trapped by life, you are trapped by the meaning you attach to it. Don't believe everything you think. Your mind will lie to protect your wounds. Truth comes from your calm, not your chaos. Train yourself to observe, not absorb. Now that you're learning to quiet the narrative in your head, it's time to master an even deeper power, the ability to witness life without becoming it, to observe without absorbing, to stay anchored No matter how loud the storm outside gets, in the next chapter, we'll train your awareness to be the eye of the storm.calm, clear, unshakable, ready to become untouchable. Chapter 9. Train yourself to observe, not absorb. Don't allow your mind to become a sponge for the world's chaos. Be the still lake, reflecting, not reacting. The emotional storm around you. We live in a world full of emotional noise. Project their frustration onto you. Co-workers bring stress to your door. Family members unload without asking. Social media floods you with drama, pain, and distraction. If you're not careful, you become an emotional sponge, soaking up everyone's tension, moods, and negativity. But you were never meant to absorb the world. You were meant to witness it. You are not here to carry everything. You are here to carry only what is yours. The power of observation without attachment. There's a difference between hearing and taking it personally, seeing and reacting automatically, noticing and letting it pass through. This is the art of emotional non-absorption, staying awake, alert, and deeply present. Without losing yourself to what you see or feel, the highest form of intelligence is the ability to observe without judgment. By J.K.R.I.S.H.N.A.M.U.R.T.I. From automatic absorption to conscious observation. Here's what most people do. Someone snaps at them, they get offended. Someone withdraws, they feel abandoned. Someone criticizes, they spiral into self-doubt. But what if you trained yourself to pause, breathe, witness, and let it pass? Your emotional energy is sacred. Don't give it away by over-identifying with every experience. One more. Practice the cloud passing technique. When someone triggers you or brings negative energy, picture their words or mood as a cloud drifting across the sky. Say in your mind, "This is not mine. I don't have to carry it." Bring your awareness back to your breath, body, and space. Do this enough, and you'll develop emotional Teflon. Nothing sticks, nothing shakes you. Observe everything. Absorb nothing that robs you of peace. When was the last time you let someone else's bad day ruin yours? Do you believe that being sensitive means you must suffer? Can you feel deeply without drowning? Compassion does not mean absorption. Presence does not mean self-abandonment. You're the sky, not the storm. World may swirl in chaos, but your stillness can be the eye in the storm. Silence, the weapon of the emotionally mature. Now that you've trained yourself to observe without absorbing, you're ready for one of the greatest emotional disciplines of all. Strategic silence. Not the silence of weakness, but the silence of power. Of presence, of clarity that doesn't need to shout. In the next chapter, we explore how the quietest voice is often the most powerful, and why silence is your greatest ally in the face of provocation. Chapter 10. Silence, the weapon of the emotionally mature. Silence is a source of great strength. By Lao Tzu. Not everything deserves your reaction. Most people believe silence means weakness. They think that if you're not defending yourself, you're losing. If you're not responding, you're conceding. If you're not fighting back, you're being walked over. But here's the secret. Emotionally immature people need to prove a point. Emotionally mature people need to protect their peace. Silence is not the absence of words. It's the presence of mastery. It's the calm that says, I don't need to engage to validate myself. I don't owe my energy to noise. Why emotionally intelligent people choose silence when you're reactive. You operate from ego. When you're silent, you operate from clarity. Silence is powerful because it buys you time to respond, not react. Leaves space for truth to reveal itself. Stops the cycle of emotional ping-pong. Commands respect without needing. Control. The most powerful person in the room is not the loudest. It's the one who can sit with discomfort in silence. When to use silence as strength? When someone is trying to provoke you. Your silence frustrates their chaos. When others misunderstand you, you stop over-explaining to be seen. When the situation doesn't deserve your energy, you keep your peace by not giving it power. When clarity is more important than control, you let the truth speak louder than your defense. Another practice: strategic silence, power pause. Next time you feel triggered, pause. Breathe in slowly for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Release for 6. Say in your mind, my silence is my strength. My energy is not for wasting. Walk away, log off. Let it go. Repeat as needed. Let silence do what words can't. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. When was the last time silence saved you from unnecessary regret? Are you trying to control how others see you instead of mastering how you feel inside? What might happen if you trusted silence more than defense? You don't have to be loud to be heard. You don't have to be right to be free. Silence is a full sentence. I see. I understand. But I choose not to engage. That is power. You don't owe a reaction to everything now that you've claimed your silence. It's time to claim your right to disengage. You don't owe access to your emotions. You don't owe people your peace. And most importantly, you don't owe a reaction to everything that tries to pull you in the next chapter. We'll explore how walking away is not weakness, it's wisdom. How withholding your reaction is not coldness, but clarity. Chapter 11. You don't owe a reaction to everything. Mastery begins the moment you stop reacting and start observing. Not everything deserves access to your energy. The truth is, not every comment deserves a comeback. Not every insult needs a defense. Not every situation calls for your emotional investment. But many of us have been conditioned to believe otherwise. If I don't speak up, they'll think I'm weak. If I don't correct them, they'll believe the wrong thing. If I don't react, I'm letting them win. No, you're not letting them win. You're letting yourself rise. Sometimes, no response is the best response, because your peace is more valuable than their drama. Reactions are expensive. Choose wisely. Imagine your attention, your energy, your inner calm as a limited currency. Every time you react, you're spending. And some situations, some people, they're not worth the cost. Ask yourself, is this argument going to matter in a week? Is this worth breaking my peace over? Am I reacting to protect my truth or my ego? Protecting your peace is not weakness, it's wisdom. Give yourself permission to disengage. You don't owe a reply to a disrespectful message, a defense to a distorted accusation, an explanation to someone committed to misunderstanding you. You owe yourself one thing only: inner alignment. The more you grow, the more you'll realize your energy is too sacred to be spent on battles beneath you. The next practice, the let it pass mantra. Next time you feel the urge to defend, fight, or react, pause, breathe, whisper to yourself, I don't owe this my energy. I choose peace over performance. Then walk away, not out of fear, but out of power. How often do you react out of pressure instead of presence? Are you spending emotional energy on things that don't align with who you are? Can you let others be wrong and still be okay inside? Not responding doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're powerful enough to stay rooted in peace. Peace is your default, not a luxury. You don't need to react to everything. You're allowed to simply be, healing the wounds that trigger you. You've now learned to protect your peace through observation, silence, and non-reaction. But what about the wounds beneath the surface? The ones that still make certain words cut deeper than others? The ones that make you react before you even think? In the next chapter, we'll explore why your biggest triggers aren't about now. They're echoes from the past that haven't yet been healed. It's time to bring light to what still hurts in the dark. Chapter 12. Healing the wounds that trigger you. You're not overreacting, you're just responding from an unhealed place. Behind every strong reaction is a silent wound. You're not weak for feeling deeply, you're human for being triggered. But Here's the truth. What triggers you is often not the moment itself. It's the memory behind it. That sharp comment that hurt more than it should have. That rejection that shattered you too quickly. That silence that felt like abandonment. They're not about now, they're about then. The past doesn't just live in your memory, it lives in your reactions. The emotional flashback you didn't notice. An emotional trigger is like an old wound being reopened. Your brain says, danger, I've been here before. And your body reacts not to the current moment, but to the pain that never got a voice. Until you heal that root pain, you'll keep overreacting to small things, carrying baggage into every situation, and letting your peace be stolen by ghosts of the past. Healing means revisiting without reliving. You don't need to relive your past to heal it. You just need to face it with awareness and compassion. Ask yourself, what memory is this reaction tied to? Who hurt me in a similar way before? What part of me still feels unloved, unseen, or unsafe? You can't heal what you won't feel. One more practice, inner child reflection. Find a quiet space, close your eyes. Picture yourself at the age when that pain first happened. Ask them, what did you need to hear back then? What comfort were you craving? What truth would have helped you feel whole? Now speak to that younger you. You are safe now. You are not alone, and you no longer have to protect yourself by reacting to everything. This is how you begin to break free, not by being tougher, but by being tender with yourself, which triggers repeat most often in your life. What do those triggers teach you about what still needs healing? Can you replace protection with presence? The strongest people are not those who don't feel pain, but those who finally stop hiding from it. You heal by feeling fully, not avoiding pain. Healing is not about erasing the past, it's about removing its power to control your present. True inner peace is a practice, not a feeling. Now that you've faced your inner wounds, you're ready to understand one powerful truth. Peace is not something you find, it's something you practice. It doesn't come from perfect conditions, it comes from disciplined choices, from how you breathe, respond, think, and live, day after day. The next chapter will explore how true peace isn't passive. It's an intentional habit of the mind, heart, and soul. Chapter 13. True inner peace is a practice, not a feeling. Peace doesn't come from getting what you want. It comes from training your mind to stay centered no matter what. Peace is not passive. It's a daily discipline. So many people wait for peace to appear. I'll be calm once I finish this project. I'll be okay once they stop bothering me. I'll feel peace when everything is finally perfect. But real inner peace isn't the result of life going right. It's the practice of choosing peace even when things go wrong. Peace isn't a destination. It's a decision you make every single moment. The daily habits that build lasting calm. Here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your training. To become someone who lives in peace, you must train for peace. Morning stillness, 5 minutes of quiet before the world begins. Conscious breathing, inhale peace. Exhale tension. Journaling triggers, write what shook you. Understand it, don't judge it. Gratitude reset. Every night. List 3 things you're thankful for. Digital boundaries. Time offline to reconnect within each practice. Though small, is a vote for the person you're becoming. Why practicing peace is so hard and worth it? Because your brain is wired for survival, not serenity. Because your ego wants to react, not reflect. Because the world rewards urgency, not inner stillness, but that's what makes it powerful. Anyone can be calm in calm conditions. True peace is staying grounded in the storm. You won't always get it right. Some days, anger will win. Some days, silence will be hard. Some days, your inner child will scream. That's okay. Peace is not perfection. It's persistence. Another practice, The 60-second piece, ritual anytime today you feel agitated, distracted, or tense. Try this. Close your eyes, breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale slowly for 6 seconds, say silently, "Peace is my power. I return to center," repeat as needed. This simple act rewires your nervous system to pause before reaction. What's one habit you can build today that cultivates peace? Where do you still expect the world to bring you peace instead of building it yourself? What would life look like if you protected your calm like you protect your time or money? Peace is not freedom from chaos, it's freedom within the chaos. Peace is not a personality trait, it's a muscle. You don't have to be born peaceful, you just have to practice it enough to become it. Rise above, choose peace every time. Now that you understand peace is a practice, the final chapter will bring it all together. We'll step into your greatest power, the ability to choose peace moment by moment, even when life tries to steal it. Because every conversation, every conflict, every trigger is an invitation to rise. It's time to close this journey by rising above once and for all. Chapter 14. Rise above, choose peace. Every time the real flex is not reacting when you could. The real power is walking away with your peace intact. Every trigger is a door. Will you enter or rise above? Let's be honest, life isn't going to stop testing you. People won't magically become kinder. Stress won't suddenly disappear. So what's your power? Your response, your choice, your ability to rise above the noise and choose peace anyway. Peace doesn't mean nothing happens, it means nothing owns you. The loop you must break. Most people live in the same emotional loop. Someone annoys them, they react. Something goes wrong, they panic. Someone disagrees, they defend or attack. It's endless, it's exhausting, and worst of all, it's optional. You can rise not by becoming cold, not by pretending things don't matter, but by choosing what's worth your energy and what's not. How emotionally strong people respond differently. Here's what people who've mastered peace do differently. They pause instead of react. They listen without needing to correct. They walk away without needing to win. They protect their energy like it's sacred, because it is, and most importantly, they don't need validation to stay centered. Their calm comes from within, not approval outside. This moment is always a test. Every day you'll face choices like, do I argue or do I walk away? Do I seek revenge or do I rise above? Do I lose control or do I return to center? Each moment is an exam you don't study for, but your practice has prepared you. Not everything needs a reaction. Some things need your silence, your absence, or your calm presence. The last practice, the peace filter. Before reacting, ask, does this deserve my energy? Will this matter in 24 hours? Is my peace more valuable than being right? If the answer isn't a clear yes, walk away. Choose peace. Let it go. Because your soul was not built for chaos. It was built for clarity. What's one trigger you've outgrown and are now ready to release forever? What would life look like if your first response was always grounded in peace? What kind of person do you become when nothing can shake your inner state? The goal is not to avoid life's chaos. The goal is to remain unshaken by it. Final reminder, peace is the ultimate power. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to carry what doesn't serve you. You just have to choose peace every time. You've already won. You've come this far. You're no longer just reacting to life. You're mastering it. You've walked through self-awareness. You've faced your emotional wounds. You've built boundaries, practiced stillness, and risen above ego. You've remembered what the world made you forget. Peace is not weak. It's the loudest strength in the quietest form. Now walk through your life differently. Not harder, not angrier, just quieter, clearer, freer. And every time life tempts you to react, breathe, pause, and whisper to yourself, I choose peace. Always.
Thank you for spending this moment with Awaken Light Audio. If something today touched your heart or opened your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments. What spoke to you most? Tell us about your journey, your questions. Send it their way, because light grows when it's shared. Until next time, stay present, stay awakened, and keep becoming who you're meant to be.